What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Cerebral Incubation, entitled Bifurcation of Primordial Slamateurs. This is released on Rising Nemesis Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, humorous, gore-laden style of brutal death metal. Yeah. When you think of brutal death metal bands that are very straight to the point, controversial, and just straight up over-the-top fun, Cerebral Incubation is one of those bands you can definitely think of. In the few amount of albums this band has put out, they have really made a name for themselves with their style and brand of music. Caveman Slam, as one of the t-shirt design I remember seeing them have, so eloquently puts them. This band has been nothing short of awesome every time they've come out with something. Going back to their debut full-length from 2009, Asphyxiating on Excrement, which of course everybody remembers the very awesome Mike Rovacek artwork for that release. That was a very short album, but beneath the 20 minutes of that entire release, you got something very entertaining. Ultra guttural vocals, creative drumming, creative guitar riffs, just overall awesomeness coming from that album. But then in 2012, we got the second full-length from this band entitled Gonorrhea Nodule Mastication. A little bit of a revamping in the lineup, new vocalist, but that album was a formidable force in and of itself. Just straight up grisly, over-the-top vocals, audio samples, just straight up ugliness. That was an ugly brutal death metal record, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. And ever since then, this band has been continuously consistent in the realms of playing live shows, staying active, staying consistent. And this newest effort has been some time in the making, and I've been very curious to see how things were going to progress forward for this band. And now here we are with the third Cerebral Incubation album entitled Bifurcation of Primordial Slamateurs. This band seems to have a very good word salad fetish, using a lot of pathological medical terms, over-the-top words. It's just really awesome. That's something I always notice about Cerebral Incubation is their word salad usage. It's 9 tracks, and it clocks in at around 23 minutes in length. And that's one thing I enjoy about Cerebral Incubation is the fact that they have a less is more approach when it comes to their music. Their albums are very short, concise, and to the point. They don't need to have extra filler to get the point across. They just put out a short album, and there you go. But with this new full-length album, I really think Cerebral Incubation have come forward with what I consider to be their magnum opus, their best material yet, their strongest music stuff to date. And I had such a blast listening to this album from the minute it started to the minute it is over. This is an album that is definitely worth endless replay value. One thing to point out about Bifurcation of Primordial Slamateurs is the fact that over the years this band has gotten better and tighter musically, and it definitely shows itself with the guitar playing throughout this entire record. It is just so phenomenal. Listening to these guitar riffs get stuck in your head, these really crazy, chaotic sort of chords coming through, then you get these really sick, slammy sort of pit riffs going on. There's a lot of crazy influences going on throughout this entire record. You hear it on the opening track, Gargling Gelatinous Menstruation, and then later on throughout the album with songs like Ascariasis Evisceration, Fecaluria Bukkake. It's just some straight up great guitar riff work going on here. Going to the song Hemorrhoidal Spewage, I'm getting a little bit of a tumpa porn grind sort of feeling going on with those riffs. I mean, if you've ever listened to the band Rompa-Prop, you're going to get what I'm talking about. But hearing some riffs on that song definitely gave me that porn grind sort of influence going on here, and I fucking love that. I love that usage of the guitar throughout this record. When those tumpa parts come on, it's just really fun to listen to. But overall, the guitar playing is just sensational to listen to. The bass work work on here is very good too. It's definitely well heard and audible. When it has its moments to shine, it definitely shines very well here. It's very gritty, very grimy. It suits the overall tone and sound of this record. It's really a joy to listen to. The drum work on here is phenomenal. Probably one of the best drum performances I've heard this guy do. He's pretty much been one of the heartbeats for this band to keep on soldiering and going forward, and it's really wonderful to listen to this drummer do his thing. The blasts, the double bass, the gravities. There's some killer gravities being done throughout this record. Gravity, hyperblasting, whatever you want to term you care to use. It's just sensational, and these songs that are so short, but yet you get so much impact from this drum performance. It's really awesome. Going back to Hemorrhoidal Spewage with the aforementioned Toompa Toompa parts, the drumming on there is just so catchy. It just gets stuck in your head, and the rest of the drum performance throughout this record is just amazing. The more slam pit riff orientated parts work out very well for the drums. It's just a very awesome, natural sounding drum performance, and I really love that about this album. And when it comes to the vocals, this new vocalist that's been with the band has been doing tremendous wonders for this band, and he does a tremendous vocal performance here. Very guttural, very nasty, very undecipherable, and I really enjoy his deliveries here. I want to say I know I mentioned Hemorrhoidal Spewage a lot, but I'm getting some senses of guest vocals here. I hear some vocals that are very different from what you would normally hear. I don't remember or I'm acquainted with who is doing certain vocal parts, but I'm pretty sure there are some guest vocals to decipher on this record. But as far as the actual vocalist is concerned, his vocals sound wonderful and really holds your attention throughout this entire record. Going back to the beginning track, Gargling Gelatinous Menstruation, to Force-Fed Smegma Spread, Suppurated Vaginal Discharge. It's just so crazy the way he does the vocals, the way he words things, the way he delivers everything, the variety, the highs, the lows, the mids, the gutturals. It's just an all-purpose vocal performance, and this guy does wonders here. So overall, I think this is probably the best thing I've heard Cerebral Incubation do yet. I think this is one of the best brutal death metal albums of the year. It's a very short album, and this is definitely something worth endless repeated replay value. If you're a fan of Cerebral Incubation, this is definitely the album to beat for as far as their stuff is concerned, and definitely one of the best of 2017. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Gargling Gelatinous Menstruation, Hemorrhoidal Spewage, Ascariasis Evisceration, Fecaluria Bukkake, and the closing track, Myiasis Insemination. These words, so over the top, but yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box. That's how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I'm going to leave you a link to the Rising Nemesis Records Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it, buy it digitally, buy it physically through the Bandcamp, and I will also leave you a link to the band's personal web store where you can purchase physical copies. I believe there is also merchandising, shirts, flags, etc., including this new full-length album. So, again, the album is Bifurcation of Primordial Slamateurs by Cerebral Incubation. This is released on Rising Nemesis Records. Go support this. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 9 out of 10. Definitely one of the best brutal death metal albums to come this year. If you've happened to prefer this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it and how you think it compares to previous Cerebral Incubation albums, or any of you guys into Cerebral Incubation. Let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until next time, Army Hill out.